Maestro, here we are, and we're going to talk about the rest of the season.
Yeah, wonderful.
What's coming up in March is the sea.
Well, that is really a theme that goes across the whole program, maybe with the exception of Shostakovich Violin Concerto. But all these pieces, I put together symphonic pieces in this program, actually have a reflection on the sea. Wagner's The Fliegende Holländer, The Flying Dutchman, is of course a very stormy piece, especially this overture when it starts with, you hear these big waves in the strings that clash against the ship, and it's a wonderful piece, and to introduce the opera, but in itself as an overture, it's a wonderful symphonic piece that shows the young, still a little bit Italianate Wagner. And it's a good fresh start for that concert.
He reminisces, doesn't he, about the voyage he was on?
Yeah,
that scared the heck out of him.
That scared the heck out of him when he went to Riga, and he was on that ship, and he thought, I'm gonna die, and he started, I think he was pretty seasick, and I think you can hear some of this in the overture. If you really hear carefully to the strings, there are some really crazy blue notes in there, but it goes so fast that you don't really hear it. But it's a fantastic and typically Wagnerian piece, of course.
But a contrast to the Shostakovich.
Yeah.
After it.
Yes and no. I think the voyage to Riga went very close to St. Petersburg, so geographically we are very close to Shostakovich, and Shostakovich, in his style, is in a certain way more neoclassical, and clearer in the texture of his orchestration. Actually, the extreme opposite of Wagner, who mixed colors and created with the mix new colors. Shostakovich has this distinct definition of different layers, sharper lines. If I would describe it to a painting, it has the sharp contrasts of each color come out very, very clearly. It doesn't have this William Turner type of painting that Wagner does. So maybe you can compare Flying Dutchman to a William Turner painting with this ship in the waves and these clouds, and Shostakovich with a Kandinsky or Otto Dix or something with clear line and quite extreme colors. So that is Shostakovich.
Even in the violin part as well?
Even in the violin part, it's very extreme. It's very low and singing and grieving in the beginning. Starts with a nocturne, and then it goes into a burlesque at the end that is completely crazy, like a burlesque is, but it's caricatura of a burlesque. So an extreme piece can really fast. I mean, as fast as something can get. It is extremely difficult actually for the whole orchestra, and of course for the violin part. And
speak about the violinist who's coming.
Yeah, Latica Honda-Rosenberg. She was one of the first Germans actually to get into the finals as a violinist of the Tchaikovsky competition, which is, the violin part of it was always dominated by Russians. I think, in all fairness, because they have a lot of very, very good violinists. Latica studied with Sasha Bron. Sasha Bron is the teacher of Maxim Vengerov, Vadim Repin, and they are the same generation. So she studied with those guys. I remember in Lübeck, I studied in Lübeck a little bit before that, piano. And I know her for a very long time, and she's a fabulous violinist. She's a great teacher.
She won the silver medal.
And she won the silver medal in that Tchaikovsky competition, and she's a great virtuoso, a great teacher, a wonderful chamber musician, but has a beautiful sound too. So she will bring a lot.
And the audience should know about the master class she's going to do?
She's going to do a master class on the 1st of March at 7 p.m. at the Majestic. It's a free master class. Please come, because she is an extraordinary teacher. It is very interesting. She has a lot to say, and it's quite dramatic when you see how she can change the playing of someone in very, very little time. You might find on YouTube a few takes of her students. I remember there's this 8-year-old Chinese boy who looks a little bit like little Oistra, big round head, and he plays a liqueur like an old man. But he's 8 years old. It's fantastic. It's really with enormous power. She's also good with very small children who are extremely gifted, because she was 12, giving her debut at the Berlin Philharmonic Hall. So it's she was this young prodigy, a bit like Midori.
Well, the concert ends with Britten's 4C interludes and the very well-known Debussy La Mer.
Yeah. I also thought to put this together. The theme of the C is quite clear now. The C interludes are from Peter Grimes, and I conducted Peter Grimes. Is one of my favorite, favorite 20th century operas. I see it right up there with Wozzeck, Porgy and Bess, and Peter Grimes are for me the very most important representatives of this genre. Here it's again very different orchestration. Britten is a little bit a mix between what's then following Debussy and Shostakovich. He has that clarity, and at the same time he start mixing it. It's a very reflective pieces in the beginning, and then it ends with this fabulous storm that leads to this catharsis in the whole piece. Well, everybody went on Peter Grimes. It's an interesting story, the story of Peter Grimes. You don't need to know it to understand the C interludes, but the C in the piece of Peter Grimes is also used as a metaphor of sheer raw power and this dependence on the C and everything. So it's
a big contrast to La Mer that's anything but that.
And La Mer is a completely different thing. The interesting thing with La Mer, I think comes always from the French language as well. La Mer and La Mer is two different things, and they pronounce the same way. La Mer, like this, and spelled that way, is the C. La Mer is the mother. I think doesn't go without, I think for the French, the sea is the mother. It's not the Mother Earth, it's the Mother Sea. So
not exactly Neptune.
Not exactly. So there is this. I think there is this connotation behind that I personally see. But Debussy's La Mer is maybe Debussy's symphony. He didn't write a symphony. He wrote tone poems, but he didn't write a symphony. And this is the symphony he wrote in 3 movements, on the height of Impressionist, maybe one of the greatest example of an Impressionist piece. Impressionist, again, now we come back to the paintings. I think here you mix colors. You like in a Monet, you want to move back to the next wall of the museum to really enjoy the colors when they start mixing. And the forms sometimes only become apparent when you have a certain distance. I always find it when these famous cathedral paintings for Monet, if you stand in front of it, you don't see anything. It only becomes a picture when you go far away. It's like the little pixels on a big TV screen. And Debussy is the same thing. If you go too close, the sound doesn't mix enough to. It needs this mixing quality. And now Wagner and Debussy, that's a very interesting match. Debussy was a big Wagnerian, and then he turned away from it. But he took a lot of Wagnerian influence into his music. This continuous melody, the idea of the continuous melody, the idea of orchestral layers, and always something active underneath that's floating. That's also very Wagnerian. This structural thinking, and then the line above, And sometimes the line is in the middle somewhere mixed in, and then these three instruments that combine to create a new color. Also, Wagner started that in a certain way, and the Impressionists took it to a different level.